With inflation spiking, scammers are working overtime to steal your hard-earned money. Recently, 25 Investigates told you about one type of check scam.
And tonight, our team is exposing another kind of check fraud. As investigative reporter Ted Daniel explains, this one targets checks in the mail.
25 Investigates was contacted by a Natick man whose checking account was wiped out in March through no fault of his own. That was nearly 4 months ago. He's been fighting to get his money back ever since. We've been looking at how checks are being swiped from the Postal Service and how to protect yourself.
I've done most of the body work. Quarter panels have all been replaced.
Tom Slamman has spent years restoring his '69 Firebird convertible.
We replaced both quarter panels.
It's a labor of love, nothing like his latest project, restoring his checking account.
I never expected this to happen. I thought checks were safe, and I couldn't believe it.
Tom mailed a $321 check to his oil company in March for a boiler cleaning. The oil company never got it.
Sure enough, that same check that went to the oil company, somebody had stolen that somehow, rewritten the check completely, and took out $9,834, I think. They even signed my wife's name, and she never signs it. They spelled her name wrong.
The check was cashed at a JP Chase Bank in Louisiana. This is a photocopy of it. Someone using the name Royal Ridgely cleaned Tom and his wife out. 25 Investigates requested police reports from several Massachusetts communities and found numerous instances of checks being stolen from the mail. Sandwich and Wakefield are just two of the towns where checks have gone missing from blue collection boxes right outside post offices. How are these crooks getting the checks in the first place?
We assume it's through mailbox phishing. The crooks will take an object such as a water bottle. They'll put double-sided tape around it or glue, tie a string to it, drop the item down into the mailbox, pull it around. Envelopes would stick to that item, and then they'd fish it back out with the envelopes.
Wakefield Police Chief Stephen Scory says his department hasn't had any recent cases, but in the 2 previous years, several checks were reported missing after being dropped in bins outside the post office on Main Street.
Whoever's doing it uses some type of chemical to wash the name of the check recipient and to change the dollar amount written on the check. In our cases, some of the checks were cashed in New York City, some of them were cashed in Boston.
Chief Scory says the problem stopped after the Postal Service replaced all the collection bins in town. The new ones have feeders and are a lot harder to get into.
Man, there's tons of them.
25 Investigates found a marketplace for stolen checks from the mail on the message app Telegram. Look at all those checks.
Because of advances in things like printing technology, it's almost impossible for your average consumer to spot a fake check. And in many cases, even trained bank tellers can't tell that they're real checks.
There are ways to protect yourself. Use black gel ink when writing checks. It's hard to wash off. Note collection times on blue boxes. Don't let checks sit overnight. Use an electronic or bill pay system for trusted payees. Use the letter slots inside your post office or hand letters to a letter carrier.
And check your account often, daily, every other day. That's what I was told.
Tom is close to getting his Firebird on the road. He says his finances won't be repaired until he gets his $9,800 back. 25 Investigates has spent weeks trying to get Tom's money back for him. I traded more than a dozen emails and calls with Tom's bank, Metro West Community Credit Union, and JP Chase, the bank where the check was cashed. After we got involved, Chase reopened Tom's claim, and he finally got his money. For 25 Investigates, I'm Ted Daniel.